at that point, you're not there to play it safe. Like if you're not taking risks, you're not competing.
It's empowering, I mean, anybody who's done a CrossFit workout, you finish your CrossFit workout and you're like, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah.
Like a hunger for competition and like that super intense structure, routine. I still had that desire.
To listen to the way people feel and the motivations for doing the things that they did, it was like they were describing me to a T.
I'm not trying to solve everything for you, but I know that sometimes you just need somebody to listen.
Learned the most is how to fill my cup by filling others.
Welcome to the Hungry Dog Barbell Podcast. Join me as I talk with passionate people about their life's failures and successes, and most importantly, what keeps them hungry for more. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Hungry Dog Barbell Podcast. I'm joined today by Andrew and John, directors of the Meadowlands Classic, the tri-state area's new elite individual competition. Join us as we have a conversation about them putting this together in 11 short weeks, getting sponsors, drafting the workouts, and making everything come together on competition day.
I think probably 2016 I discovered CrossFit, and then just didn't work out for whatever reasons. I think I went to like 2 or 3 classes. It just didn't flow with the affiliate at the time. So it wasn't until a buddy of mine from high school started coaching at his gym, and then I reached out to him and said, "Hey, where's this new CrossFit gym?"
Right.
And he's like, "Oh, it's in the next town." So I was like, "Cool, I'll drop in." I met Andrew, and then what we realized was my best friend went to high school with him. So we wound up having a lot of common interests and mutual friends.
Hell yeah.
And then we just became buddies. I started, I guess, how long before I became a coach? Probably like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Year and a half before I
So that's how you guys know each other? Like you just came to the gym and then developed a relationship from there?
Yeah, just mutual friends.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
That's cool.
So, yeah, easy enough.
So you were a personal trainer, like young in your life. You've kind of always
Yeah.
been about working out. Have you always done that your whole life?
Yeah, so sports and fitness has always been a big part of my life.
You were a runner before, you said?
A runner, yeah. So I guess if we take it back to like high school days, captain of like the track team my junior year and senior year, and then in high school, let me think, soccer team, I was the captain senior year. Then I didn't really want to pursue it after college, so instead I got really into bodybuilding, but that came from more or less like I was always like the smallest guy.
That's what we all do when we first get in the gym anyway,
just
biceps, triceps, bench.
Just trying to get bigger, and then, I hit, I don't want to say like a peak, but like there was a time when people really noticed that, my body was changing because of all that time I was putting into it. So then people started asking me for help. So then at about like almost 19, I became a personal trainer.
Hell yeah.
And I did that while I was getting my associates. So I was training clients at a pretty high-end gym. Once I got my associates, I switched to I guess my second career would be IT.
Is that where you are right now?
No, I'm on like my 6th iteration.
I was going to say, like, something about the way he was saying it, I was like, I feel like you got a couple of lives already.
Yeah.
I like that.
So it's funny because we talk about this all the time. Like, I think I have ADHD undiagnosed, right? Self-diagnosed, I guess we could say. Andrew says the same thing. So, like, we actually, when we were thinking about business names, like, where the Meadowlands Classic would be held under.
Yeah.
Or DBA, right? We named the business Hyper Focused. Because, for whatever reason, if we're not interested in it, we can't focus in it. But if it's something that we're extremely passionate about it.
Yeah.
Like Andrew and I can sit down and talk about it for like what feels like 15 minutes and 3 hours goes by.
I really like that. I mean,
It's
the
not
vibe
really
is just coming off like right away.
We're not polar opposites, but this is definitely a good collaboration, like synergy-wise.
Hell yeah, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
synergy, because you need things to flow. You need a certain vibration to really be in tune with everything. So you told us that you were a swimmer before. Like, how did it evolve into you training other people? Like, where did that come from?
So I'm from Jersey. When I swam in New Jersey for Club Team Cougar Aquatic Team, we did a lot of community work, and we did a lot of specific work around special needs, kids with special needs.
That's dope.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that because I love helping kids in general, but especially kids that have a hard time kind of either fitting in or have like disabilities. They can't really do much.
Yeah.
So we were able to teach them how to swim, and I fell in love with that. And then in college, kind of diving how I got into CrossFit. Like in college, I was I was walking by one of the lacrosse guys that I was friendly with on my floor, and they were watching the CrossFit games. And Rich Froning, that was the one that Rich Froning was climbing up the rope and
fell?
he kind of like fell.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, I want to do that, but I don't want to fall. No offense, Rich, but
shout out to Rich.
yeah, but I was like, wow, that looks pretty cool. I would love to learn more about what that is. So I asked them like what I'd watch, and it said CrossFit. So I started Googling it, saw CrossFit.com, tried following some of the online programming back in the day when the website was like
just comment on the website.
And beige.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Oh man,
But
that was
now
those
it's a lot
times.
better. But yeah, I started trying to do that, and then I got in trouble with strength and conditioning coaches because they didn't want me doing that training
Right.
in their gym. Eventually, senior year came, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to dive full into CrossFit. I actually went to CrossFit Love over here when it was like a thing.
The OG one, yeah.
Yeah. And I met a bunch of people, really great people I'm still friends with, very close friends with. And you know, they were like, hey, you should probably try and like compete. I'm like, oh, well, why do I do that? And it was around the Open.
Is this before you got out of college or after?
This was my senior year in college.
Word.
2015, and that's when I did my first Open. I did one workout, and then the next year when I had 1 full year of training in at Love, I did my second Open. I completely destroyed my hands. I think it was
bar muscle ups.
I think it was either that, it was some sort of muscle up, either that or rings. And
Yeah.
I went to my internship, and I was like, dude, I can't type.
Oh.
My hands are destroyed.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you doing? But yeah, from this, long story short, from there, I ended up training with them with the regional team for a while. I was alternate on the team. That all happened, and I went to 215. And then from 215, I took a job in New York, moved back up here, trained at CrossFit Steam for a while, coached there for a little bit, and then eventually I opened up my own. And yeah, it was from there it was a wrap.
Well, wait, what was your mindset like on the way to open your own gym? You know, like, did you feel prepared for that? Had that ever been a thought that you wanted to do something like that before? Did you ever feel business minded?
Yeah, when I was at Love, when I first started coaching, it was kind of like very informal. The owner was like, "Dude, I need a coach. You want to coach?"
Right.
I'm like,
You could work out here for
yeah,
free.
sure.
One of those
yeah,
guys.
exactly. He's like, these are rules. Just get your L1 and you're good to go. I'm like, all right. So I did that, and I was like, damn, this is pretty cool. Like, I would love to own a gym. Like, if I could do it, why not? So then, you know, props to Jason Khalipa. That's how I learned about like the business of CrossFit.
Follow NC Fit and all those things.
Yeah.
Did you listen to Barbell Shrugged back in the day?
Yeah, Barbell Shrugged.
Yeah, same thing, bro.
Business of Fitness with Jason Khalipa. Now I think it's Coffee with Khalipa. Listened to a lot of Barbell Shrugged, Ben Bergeron. Read a lot of books.
Right.
Alex Hormozy, all that stuff. So all of that helped me with developing kind of like how I wanted the gym to run as a business. And then going to so many different gyms, I knew exactly what I wanted, what I didn't want. And yeah, so far so good. Survived the pandemic, so I think we're pretty good so far.
We were kind of talking about this out there before with the business acumen side, and like, so you took that upon yourself to do it on your own, right? To learn about how to actually operate a gym, you know. So what about you? Like, in your 6 Life iteration there, when did you start thinking about business, operating things? How did you get to the point where you'd be the operating manager for
I have to take you
Meadowlands?
back kind of early. I mean, so I always like
do it, bro.
Yeah, I always like tell people about my first business. So I think I must have been like 8 when my dad used to be a diamond setter in the city for over 25 years. Then 9/11 happened. He felt like he should step away from the city life, and he became an entrepreneur himself. But when he was working in the city, he would always walk through Chinatown, and he would buy me those little things you would throw on the ground. They'd pop. You know, you give them to kids.
Yeah.
So my dad would give me them, and he would say, "Take this to school and sell it for 50 cents." So that's like kind of how I started like earning my own money as a kid.
Right.
And of course, you're not like obviously making a ton of money, but
it puts
the
something
concept,
in your head.
yeah, the concept of making money. That and when I was a kid, me and my friends would go shovel houses when it snowed, so we would earn money. I mean, we wouldn't have like set prices. We'd like, pay us whatever you think is fair.
After we do the job. Yeah. Kids don't do that shit anymore.
Yeah, and you know it's sad because I don't see it anymore.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, so that's kind of how like my life kind of kicked off as far as like business endeavors. Even in high school, I used to sell candy like out of a lunchbox.
Right.
The teachers used to think that I
like needed buddy or something.
No. Like they thought I had books in there. And, like really, I just had like Airheads, Rice Krispies, and like you would come to me
up candy.
I was
That's
hustling
funny.
candy during school, and then eventually the principal came up to me and was like, "Hey, I know what you're doing, and like you can't do that because it's taking away money from the
school
cafeteria.
Mm-hmm.
But like I should suspend you, but I'm not going to because I respect your entrepreneurship.
Right.
And you know we kind of just left it at that. But I guess like different iterations. In high school, I was a barber. I used to cut people's hair for money.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, that's why I always say I'll cut your money, dude. I mean, I'll cut your hair.
You ever cut your own hair?
I have. Yeah, I do mainly shape ups, my own shape ups. But what else? I was a personal trainer. I worked in IT. I have a degree I have an associate's in IT. I have a bachelor's in in business analytics. The cool thing, and I'm always happy to share this, but it took me 7 years to graduate college. I did 3 years with my associates. I took a 1 year gap. 1 year gap year, and then it took me another 3 years to get my bachelor's. And the only reason is because I always worked full time.
Grinding through the whole thing.
Every time. Yeah, and it's hard for me to focus on things that necessarily I wasn't really entirely interested in.
Yeah.
So going to school, like many people, wasn't like my main priority. Making money is my main priority.
Right.
Through that, I always kind of figured out, well, how can I make more money? After college, I started working for Broadway in analytics. Then after that...
Bro, you've been all over. That's funny.
Yeah. So then after that, the pandemic happened, and I got bored, and I moved into a new apartment. And in that apartment, I needed a desk. So I built myself a desk because I was a house music producer. I still am.
Carpenter?
Yeah, so I became a carpenter, and I started a Kickstarter.
Hey.
And I was building custom producer desks for people all over the U.S.
Right.
And I was shipping them. So I started this Kickstarter to raise money so I can get my own facility and get out of my parents' garage.
Hell yeah.
So I raised $12,000 in 3 weeks, and then I signed a lease, got into a space. And then, obviously, this was during the pandemic.
I was going to say, it's still that time?
Yeah, still that time. This was 2020, right? I got the space, and then what happened was that the interest rates keep dropping in the houses, right? So then people obviously started remodeling their homes. They started building cabinets, and the same material that I was using for wood is the same material they were using for cabinets.
So that price off.
Yeah, and then there was a supply chain issue, so people are outbidding me for the material.
Mm-hmm.
So
then you're one person versus the corporations and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, talking about like they have deep pockets,
Mm-hmm.
and multiple companies are now bidding against a pallet of wood, and like I just can't get my hands on
They
it.
call that shit lumber wars.
Yeah, literally. Oh yeah, I remember that article. So then I had to convert my business, and in a warehouse that I already had. I had a 3,500 square foot warehouse where I was making these desks. I converted it into a production studio. So now I was creating custom sets for music videos and commercials. And then I sold that business May 4th this year, 2023.
That's dope.
So I have like
everything.
Yeah, a little bit. And then now here's a new business. So
right.
Talk about, in August we kind of
kicked off,
figured this out.
Yeah.
Spoke about it, and by November, we tested the concept, and now we're here.
Got it cracking,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, got one more thing in the works. But that's me, like personally, trying to also figure out how Andrew and I can team up on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of serial entrepreneur, just trying to.
That's awesome.
Throw things to the wall and see what's.
Usually, I ask people like after they tell a story like that, like where did you get that boldness to do that stuff? But it sounds like you got it from your dad, from your pop.
Yeah, well, my mom's more conservative. I'm more like my dad's more risk adverse.
Yeah.
So
like I said, bold.
Yeah. So I would definitely say I got it from my father. My father is very street smart.
Yeah. And
I get his street smart from him. My mom she has her master's. My sister also has her master's from Columbia. So
they went the school route.
Yeah, they went the school route. But I have experience, obviously, in corporate, and I kind of have their mindset as far as that goes, as far as being like super organized. Because my dad owns a construction company now, so he's a little bit all over the place. But the man hustles like crazy. So I got like the hustle, and I got like the other side where
the organization.
Very good with computers too. So tech wise, I'm solid.
Back to the fitness side of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, tell me, you do the CrossFit Open. What's the first like in-person live competition you see? Like whether it's a local event, big event. What's the first one that you can remember going to?
There was one in CrossFit South Philly, I think it was called. I don't know if that's OBA now. I think that was the first one that I competed in, and that was when I was at Love, and I think that was a team workout. And then there was another one that it's always going to stick out in my head because it's really funny. It was with Caroline Dardini. I lost touch with her, but Caroline, if she's listening to this, I miss you. So she was a really good athlete. She was basically like sixth at regionals.
Wow.
Just missed the games, and I was like, "Hey, Caroline, like,
shout out to regionals too."
What? Yeah, seriously, RIP. But I was like, "Hey, I want to compete. Like, I think I'm maybe close to like good cardio level as you are." And then we did a workout, and bro, she like absolutely smoked me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Been there.
We did like a 30-pound medicine ball. It was wall balls and then running. And dude, she was like at least 400 meters in front of me. And there's a photo of us where I'm like dying in the back. And
she's
Caroline's
chilling.
Just like hanging out in the front.
Been there, bro.
Dude, there was one time.
Yeah.
You remember when Chandler was up here?
Would he still live in the area? Because he went to 205. Yeah.
So we were doing, I forget what workout it was. It had a lot of gymnastics in the beginning and like a long ass run. I'm like, all right. This dude is huge. He probably can't run that well. And at that time, I didn't know Chandler's background was like
that he was him.
Up, like Chandler Smith.
Right, he was him.
I knew who he was, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. I'm working out with Chandler." But I didn't realize how like good he was at cardio stuff. So we go out for the run. I'm like, "All right, first 400 meters, keeping up with him." Then he just like disappears. I'm like, "All right, bye, man.
See you later."
Yeah.
Oh.
So that same gut feeling, like, damn.
Yeah. Like that, like. Embarrassment's not even a word, you know.
I think when we did Murph, I think my first mile. First of all, I died in Murph. It took me like forever, but I was super proud because I was on
first mile though.
Dude, I was on an empty stomach. It was bad. I woke up maybe like 15 minutes, and then I didn't even get a chance to stretch. I just went.
You went,
Murph.
did it?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I got. What is it? I'm pretty sure I got wrapped though. I was out for 10 days. But I didn't go to the hospital or anything. Yeah, that's that tough. I remember.
Did you wear a vest?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, you
so
got wrapped up.
I did my first mile. It was like almost sub 7 to kick it off. But it was just adrenaline.
Yeah.
And I just love to run.
Right.
So the rest of the workout was awful. But yeah, it took me like an hour 10 after that. I got like 20 pull-ups in, and I was like, oh no.
Did you do it unpartitioned, or did you break it up?
No. What did we do?
Did you do the straight 100, or did you do like
No, I did straight 100. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Not like 10, 20, 30.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, just...
That's tough, bro. I was going to ask you, did you keep your love from running from earlier in your life?
Yeah,
still
for
love
sure.
run?
It's tough for me in the spring because I have so many allergies, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as I feel like the weather gets super nice at nighttime, I'm outside, and like I really make an effort. Like we'll finish class, and like immediately after I'll hit like 3 miles, go back, stretch. You know, I just try and enjoy the outside because I work from home. You know, because I do have a full-time job. I should probably say that. But
same.
Yeah. So, you know, whenever I get a chance to go out, I try and take advantage of that. So.
Yeah, that's dope. So let's keep going with the competitions, man. So what's like the next big thing you see? Did you go to Waterpalooza? Like, what's the next big comps you go to?
I went. So I also coach a few athletes individually at my gym, and I went to go see one of them at the Masters Fitness Collective.
Nice.
Did pretty good there. The next one that I think I want to go to is Waterpalooza, so I'm trying to figure out like flights and lodging and all that stuff.
Yeah.
If not, I think the next big one is probably going to be the games.
Nice.
We went this past year. It was awesome.
Oh, you went to the games this year? Yeah.
I'll probably go back to semis this year.
Oh, semi, yeah.
I went to semis last year.
Yeah, I went to Waterpalooza last year. It is a really fun experience. If you do, you got to get tickets quick and definitely get the VIP ticket.
That's
like
what I'm saying.
You have to, especially
So
last year. Well, I worked it last year. I judged it.
How was that?
It's a lot of work. I will tell you that.
Yeah,
from organizing, you kind of know like what goes on in it, and like just imagine like what your judges went through. Waterpalooza, it's a lot of work, and I was on the main stage. I worked Flagler, so we were out there from 6 in the morning until 8 at night, like with the elites and shit like that. I mean, I would definitely go there and get the VIP one because the Flagler just sells out. Like it's a festival, which people forget about. Like it's not just the competition. Like So you could buy a ticket and not get into the main stage unless you get the VIP one.
Got it.
Really?
Yes, because like there's 3 stages, and then there's vendors and shit like that. It's a festival going on. Like they have events going on outside of where the main shit's happening at the end of the night. So like the first night when they were doing the partner one, because they had partner and individual.
Yep.
Fucking like I wasn't judging that one. I got the heat off for the last heat, and like they weren't about to let you back into the stadium until I showed my judge's badge. It was that packed out.
Damn.
I looked outside of it because they make you like walk around and go through the other entrance, and it's literally just 4 lines, and they're all just circling around the stage. So many people. But so yeah, get a VIP ticket. You could go sit next to Brooke Wells and fucking Alex Rodriguez and shit like that.
Cool.
So that that gets worth it. If you want to invest that money. So Wadapalooza, MSC, like where do you start getting inspiration to run the Meadowlands Classic? What's the first thing you guys can like pin down to like where it started from?
I can answer this one because I mean we talked about it for a while, but I think I initiated the conversation like for the Meadowlands Classic. No, did you know?
There's some head shaking going on.
In my head, I initiated it, so in New Jersey there's a local competition that happens every year. Typically, it was the first one I did, and
Which one was that?
908.
Yeah.
Shout out Tim from 908. He runs a solid comp. And it was my first comp. I think I came in like 4th in like the intermediate, or I don't know what you call the scale, the intermediate, but it was my very first comp. And everybody kept saying, "Oh, this is like one of the best comps in Jersey. Like he runs it so smooth." And
right.
Everybody there had this like cool vibe, versus, I went to some other comps later in the year where I competed in, and it wasn't the same experience. And it's like, you start thinking, I guess from like a business perspective, like what's the difference between this comp and the other comps that I did, or some of the ones that Andrew has done that I've gone to, or semis.
Right.
You just start thinking about it from like a science perspective.
Right.
But so I messaged them. And I said, hey, when you guys starting to sign people up, like when sign-up's opening? And they're like, we're not doing it this year. And I was like torn because I was like looking forward to it all year to retest where I am, right? So then I was pretty upset. So I went into Andrew's office and I was like, dude, they're not doing it this year. Like I'm pissed and whatever. And he's like, oh really? And I was like, fuck it, let's do our own.
Hell yeah.
And then we just kind of like looked at each other and we just like shook hands like in the moment and like. All right, cool. Like I'll start thinking of brand names and we'll start thinking of a concept.
You're right.
That's how it went, right?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And then Andrew always goes with the flow, so he's just like, yeah, I'm down. Yeah, I know you're thinking about it for a while, but it was that moment where it's like I went into this room, I said,
where it became
real. Doing
this.
Yeah, we're gonna do this. So for me saying that we're gonna do this, that means that like I'm not only like emotionally and physically gonna be involved in the project, but I'm financially gonna be involved in the project as well.
I'm committed now.
We're committed, and the reason why I say financially is because the turnaround time for a project like that, like it's gonna be hard to find funding for like the undertaking that we were gonna do, knowing that it wasn't like the world's biggest like competition,
but it was still.
But
like
we started to get a venue,
like 3-4 months, and
no, not even 3-4 months. We had 11 weeks.
Yeah.
So he found a location. We went that same day to go look at it. Then I think we went, we thought about it. We went back like the next day. Like we went 50-50 on the deposits. And like immediately we started finding just partners. And we were like, all right, we got to find sponsors and try to figure out like, okay, how do we run a break-even project? Like and try and grow a brand like right out the gate.
Right.
And you got 11 weeks to do it. So it's like all we thought about for 11 weeks, while also managing our full-time jobs.
Right. That's
and,
part of it.
And he has his gyms, and he has to do all the programming for it.
2 full-time jobs.
Yeah, practically. So,
almost 3 full-time jobs plus that one.
So, we had a lot.
And I'm sure you weren't just sitting down and just having your full-time job and that was it, too. Yeah.
No, I mean, again, I have the luxury of working from home. So, and I also have, like, a sick-ass workstation because, as you know, I used to build desks. So I have, like, a 48-inch curved monitor.
Yeah.
And I have, like, monitors stacked on top of that. So I'm, like, multitasking this entire time. But that's kind of how the agreement for the project came together. But Andrew and I, we see a lot of things eye to eye, like from just, I guess, like from a business perspective. So it kind of works out. We're both passionate. Now, I'll say this right out the gate. I'm not as passionate about CrossFit the same way that he is.
Yeah.
We're because he's how
But that's where the synergy comes
Yeah, but you're
in.
like 10 years in, right? How long are you in CrossFit?
Something like that.
He's like 10 years in. I'm
Yeah.
like really like 2 years in.
Yeah.
So it's just different. But I'm very passionate about fitness as a whole, and I'm very passionate about business as a whole.
Yeah.
And the two mix really well. And then obviously partnerships are very tough. But when you can see eye to eye with a partner, it works out good.
Yeah.
We're also like very good at different things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not that there's one. I mean, I'm not good at tech. I'm just gonna say it out there. But like, you know, it's not. Like you said before, there's a lot of synergy.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it works.
I'm not gonna try and make a website. You know,
Right.
I did my Squarespace thing for the gym, and then I hired someone else to do a website for us
And maintain
right? So,
everything
like,
else. Yeah.
You know, John created that entire website himself, like that.
In like 2 hours.
Yeah. He goes, "Yo, the website's up." I'm like, "Oh shit."
Hell yeah.
Cool. So, you know, a lot of that, and just put it out there, like to pull something off like that, it does cost like a decent amount of money. Luckily, we were able to like put all of our own money into this. So that's why for us, it's like a big accomplishment. It's even more impressive to us. I mean, we hope everyone thinks that it was impressive. Our surveys came back pretty positive.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, seeing how all that came to fruition on 11 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, after being laughed at, after being said that, oh, you need like X amount of time to do this, you know, we're like, bro, they don't know who we are.
We can do it.
Yeah, we can do it,
Because we're both very determined people too. And, you know, we said that at the closing ceremony. It's like, we made this happen. We want to provide the best Northeast competition possible because that's, you know, we'll talk about that later in the show, but, you know.
That's the vibe. So I have a question. You were talking about CrossFit 808. Is that what it's called?
908.
908.
Yeah.
So was that in an affiliate? Was that in a gym?
No, they're still around. Yeah.
But was the competition in an affiliate?
Yeah.
So but you guys were planning something way bigger than that. Like, where did that come from? And you were like, I wanna provide this like the same level of comp they had, but I want to do it bigger.
Well, yeah. Shout out Tim again, but they have like 95 people that go to that comp every year.
Yeah,
they have a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they sell it all in 2 days.
Yeah, and
awesome.
and it runs on time, and I think so. That's like the biggest thing. What was your initial question? Sorry, just blanked out.
Why'd you guys want to take it even bigger? Go into the sports complex.
Well, I mean, I think the main reason is because
is your vision just that
no,
big?
I think it's because Andrew's gym just can't
I
hold.
can't do it. Yeah.
We can't do it. We don't have the.
Per my lease, I'm not allowed to have events in my gym.
Yeah, I feel
so
that.
That was one thing.
Yeah, that's one thing. I think I don't know. I think.
But we had a conversation at some point where we were just like, we
I don't
kind
know why
of
we
had.
did it.
Well, we kind of had the same.
I think the vision's just big.
No, I think we just.
I'm like, bro, look, we need something like regionals in the Northeast, right? Ben Bergeron used to do ECC.
Right.
I don't really know what happened to that.
He's just pulling out of CrossFit, bro. That's what it is. That's all it is.
It's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, he's just pulling out of CrossFit.
I was telling John, I'm like, bro, if we're renting out something like this, we might as well just go big and then try and be
that's what happened.
Another like Wadapalooza.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Grassroots Wadapalooza. Remember that, bro? That thing was like a stage and like not even a stage. It was a bunch of like rubber mats and barbells and people would literally walk in between the events.
I saw some videos.
It allowed it to become what it is today, you know, because people keep going back and they still have those memories and they're like, oh, this is like a local thing. It's just really big, you know.
That's funny you say that because when we announced the Meadowlands Classic, I got a bunch of DMs from people saying, oh, I'm so glad to see it come back to the Meadowlands. And I'm like, when was it ever in the Meadowlands?
Yeah.
I never knew that. I asked Andrew. He had no idea.
Yeah.
And then I Googled, started, doing some searching. It was called Mayhem at the Meadowlands. And it happened, it happened at MetLife, like in the stadium.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was called MetLife then. It might have been a giant stadium still.
They changed it 10 years ago.
Yeah, it might have been still a giant stadium. But and I found out more about it. I found out the guy who was organizing it, he has an organization, I think it's called Run for Rob, and it was a charity organization. But at the time, he used to work at MetLife, so they gave him the field on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And then the competition went so. Like, it was a fun competition. It was not the best organized, but people had a really good time.
So they
but they ruined the field and they asked to never do it again. Yeah, so
imagine that insurance policy.
Yeah,
Bro.
no, I'm good, thanks.
One thing that I think 908 does very well is they really make the athletes feel special.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they say their names on each heat. the judges are super nice. You know? That's really important.
They're all members of their gym too.
Yeah, they're all members. You know, it's a good community feel. So when we were doing this, I'm like, bro, one of the things we have to make sure we do is make sure we get these athletes to feel like this is like their games. You know?
Yeah.
Like this is like a legit CrossFit competition. This isn't like no offense to local competitions, but it's not run out of a gym.
Everyone's highlighted too. Yeah.
You're performing like you're at the CrossFit Games.
Yeah,
we
want you to
train
for it.
to find that, you know.
Yeah, we wanted people to train for it. I think the other big thing is we wanted people to feel like. I feel like a lot of like local comps, you know, after doing 908, it definitely did not feel like that at 908. But another competition that I did after that, it feels like almost like a money grab. I don't know if you have local comps run competitions. It almost feels like. So we wanted people to feel like, oh, there's gonna be a massive prize at the end, whether it was cash or whether it was actual prizes from our sponsors or podium contributors. So we wanted people to go max effort. So that's why I think it was so important, like, you know, that we try and get the best prize for everybody, and in addition to that, offer them like impressive money, because I feel like that legitimizes what you're doing, right? Because money talks, right? That's the truth. I also feel like making things look professional is just as important as the competition itself, like,
because it makes it professional.
The signage is so important.
Right.
Having the website is so important. Running the Instagram and keeping it up to date, answering emails and answering messages like in a timely manner is so important. And I think the only reason why we were able to do that is because most CrossFit gym or competitions that happen are also run by the owner, right?
And they're trying to split it,
and they're super busy. Like Andrew's handling like 3 different things all at once, you know. So the fact that it's like I take that off him, and he gets to just focus on the things that he's good at, and I get to now be the best communicator I can be for the athletes, for the spectators, for the sponsors.
Right.
I think that's like another reason as to why we're able to take it to where it is now in the short amount of time.
And also, like, one of the things we both agreed on was, you know, we got to make this very unique. So linking up with Kurt Miller out of South Mountain CrossFit, right? South Mountain Community Fitness. Like, he has a company called Rubik's Fitness, and I've always done Kurt's competitions. They're always really fun.
The Commonwealth, yeah,
super tough workouts. So I was like, Kurt, what do you think about like being an equipment like donor, I guess, so that we can use the equipment,
right?
And
for the board,
sleds, you know, no one knew what a board sled was. You can't buy it. No one has it. It's only Kurt and like maybe 3 of his friends,
right?
And luckily, I have a good relationship with him, so I was able to say, hey man, we just need like 15 sleds. You think you make that happen? He's like, yeah, 100%.
Hell yeah.
So that was a cool, unique piece. And other unique stuff that we did was we did event bonuses, you know, like no competition, at least to my knowledge, does event bonuses.
Win a workout, win something.
Yeah, besides like the Open or something that's with the CrossFit LLC, you know.
Right.
What's your take on that, actually? I mean, like when you, I guess, heard about the event bonuses, did you feel like that was a cool twist?
I didn't hear about the event bonuses beforehand. Right now, I knew about prize money. I mean, I like it.
Is that good enough for you though?
I like
money?
I mean, I'm not going to semifinals, you know.
Right.
I go out to a CrossFit competition and, like, you know, I'm going to place middle of the pack.
Right.
If there's regular dudes out there, if there's elite dudes out there, then I'm going to place, like, towards the bottom, you know. Like, that's how it would be. My take on it, I think it's awesome. I mean, if that's the competition you're running, then freaking it makes sense and it's awesome. You're like, okay, I may not be able to go win this whole thing, but like I'm gonna go push it. It draws up the intensity, you know, so people don't take off for workouts.
Yeah, I think also like behind that idea was you could win one event, lose the rest of the 3, not podium, but at least win half your money back.
Right.
And I think that is like,
I mean, it's just something super cool, you know.
Yeah, and also I think that's like, you know, you go into these events and, you know, you don't know what the competition is going to look like,
right?
Necessarily. So I think if you, in your mind as an athlete, you're like, as long as I can win one event, like, to me, that's a big win.
Right.
And at least I'm getting something for it. right?
You see games athletes like after when they're doing their recap, they're like, I knew this was my event to win, and I pushed myself to go out and win it.
It's like Chad Smith with the deadlift, right?
Yeah. Some of they're like I knew this was my event to either win or lose, and I went out and I made myself win it. So then like athletes can come out there and they can do that. They're like, all right, this workout is literally like a softball pitch for me as long as I crush it. So I'm gonna make myself go do that, and those can be really fun like events to be a part of.
Yeah. The other thing that we Andrew and I are really big on. Details is we're huge on, but like athlete experience is so important. I'm sure people hear this all the time, but I think where competitions, and we're not even talking about small, I'm talking about more even larger competitions where they miss outside of Wadapalooza.
They miss a lot. I can tell you that.
Where they miss. No, but this is what Wadapalooza does really well, and they figured it out. And this is what other big comps can't figure out: is how do you get more spectators, other than not including CrossFit, right? Because obviously they're the mecca of it. Like, how do you get spectators to your event? Because that aren't there to support their friends and family or athletes, right?
Yeah.
That is something that we're trying to also solve. And this year we had quite a few people who were there that weren't supporting, friends or family. They were just interested in watching to see a CrossFit event because they saw the stream this year, or they saw it on ESPN Plus. So, how do you get those people who want to get exposed to CrossFit to come? And a lot of that has to do with just proper marketing, but it's also like, how come Wadapalooza can do it? Why can't another competition?
It's the beach, I can tell you that.
Well, no, it's the beach, yeah, but I think it's
Have you been to Wadapalooza?
I have not, but I've been
been there?
But I've been to Ultra. I've been to Miami Music Week, so it's the same reason why people go there.
Yeah, because you guys were talking about details before. Like, as a judge, the card they would give me as a scorecard would read different than what was on Instagram, and that would read different than what was up on the projector screen.
Yeah.
So they would be all over the place, because
when we were looking at locations for 2024, it's like we were taking that into consideration too, because I'd rather pay more than to have to reorganize the entire event. So so there's just a lot of decision making that goes into I guess when it rains and we want to take that into consideration. Also, location. We also, when we're picking locations, we also don't want people to spend a ton of money on lodging. Yeah. So we try to be, we're thinking about people's pockets as well. It's not
because you're going to draw in a big crowd.
Yeah. Well, we're also trying to think about areas it's got to be near an international airport because next year our plans, we believe that people are going to come in from all over the world to come to our event. So there's a lot of variables that we're considering when picking a location for next year. But
you always want to plan for more people to be able to do your event than you're even thinking of, right? You want to over plan,
Well, yeah. Well, I think our model is over communication.
Yeah.
And I said this in our very first email. We are athletes ourselves. As organizers, we strive for the best athlete experience, vendor experience, spectator experience. But most importantly, we made a commitment that we would over communicate not only to us as partners, but to the athletes. So we try to make sure that we send out emails, if not every other day, then at least once a week to let you know anything that's new. We even did the Q&A leading up to the competition.
Everyone loved that too.
Yeah.
You want to solve all the problems that you saw beforehand.
We want to answer any questions you might have. I mean, we obviously, with my background from the studio production business, I have connections with video producers. So we did just a run through of how the workout should look, and then obviously during the Q&A, Andrew was able to make a CAD drawing of how the actual floor would be laid out.
The floor layout,
we were able to update the website, put all that information on there, kind of explain it, put the standards in detail, not 3 bullets that say this is the weight and
you know what a thruster is,
Yeah. So we try to make sure that majority of the questions were kind of taken care of, and Andrew did a great job putting that together because I just make it look nice.
That's his vibe.
Yeah.
So I have this couple of last few questions for you guys, right? We're coming close to the end. For both of you, we'll go Andrew first. Was there a time period over that 11 weeks where you were fuck, we're in over our heads? Did you ever feel like reverse course, or were you full steam ahead the whole time?
No. I was like
Full on.
super highly confident the entire time.
John laughed a little bit over here. Keep going.
Well, I don't. There could be many reasons why he's laughing.
Yeah.
Because like, one day he came into my office and I'm like half dead, like 6 a.m.
He's always
He's
like,
"Yo, you good?" I'm like, "Yeah, why would I not be good?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, we're 2 days out." I'm like, "Okay."
Hell yeah.
yeah,
Because
actually, I remember that.
When there's like a lot of pressure, I love pressure.
Right.
I actually like.
That's your
weirdly
flow state,
enough,
right?
I
Like you get
calm
into that.
down
Yeah, he
during
gets super
pressure.
calm.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I'm like, "Nothing, dude. I'm fine. What's wrong with you?"
House on fire.
House on
In
fire.
my head.
And you're just
You know
slowly
that-
walking
you know
through.
that
It was
SpongeBob meme?
hilarious.
Yeah.
SpongeBob with the paper going in the air and like things
I'm just
burning.
like hanging out, sipping my first one. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm good.
Yeah.
First one,
What's up?
7 in the
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
you? Do you have a freak out moment?
morning. No, I think it like it's more anxiety more than anything. I was pretty confident because I know we did like our homework leading up to it, but then it's like first year jitters. We've never done an event. We've never organized anything. We barely, and this is funny. And I hope this builds confidence to anybody who's thinking about doing a competition. Is the only competition we ever did was like this half-ass in-house competition
Oh yeah.
at his gym for
Yeah.
like the members. And that was it. And like I was like, yeah, I'll help you. And we kind of just did that. So to go from like in-house competition only to 40,000 square feet and like 165 athletes and 18 on-site vendors and 12 podium sponsors, all within. I think we did that in less than 1 year. This had to be like 9 months.
For what?
When did we do the in-house competition?
In June.
So between June and
Yeah.
November, 5 months to go from never having running a competition to doing like a little in-house one to doing like a full-blown scaled one
Right.
is if that's not encouraging to people who like want to take that jump. Like this is a message that if you believe that you have the skills to do so, then you should do it, and the backing because it's not cheap.
It's possible. You just gotta work really hard.
Yeah, and you got to put people in charge.
People
That's
just don't
for
wanna-
sure. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned, Manny.
Yeah.
Like before we started this competition, I told Andrew, I was like, we got to get someone to take that weight off of you.
Yeah.
And they need to be the best.
I was like, I know the guy.
Yeah.
He's like, I got the guy.
And Manny and Yamaris, they're perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And it worked out like awesome that
Mhm.
we found them. I mean, I don't think without them we would have been able to run as smoothly as we could. Also, like shout out the MCs. The MCs were so great.
Yeah.
Like, Cam from I forget what's the name of
I think it's
his gym?
Andover CrossFit.
There you go. Andover
Oh yeah, he's from
CrossFit.
up in like the Baltimore
Yeah,
area,
he's
Boston,
in,
Boston,
Massachusetts.
yeah, Massachusetts,
Yeah, he's in Boston. And we met him at Asbury Park, and I think that was the first comp he did where he was like a MC at like a
Did it great.
yeah. And I ran up to him like, dude, do our comp. He's like, yeah, I'll go on. We figured it out.
Yeah.
And then also he met Bella Martin at the Masters. What is it, Masters Fitness?
MFC,
Yeah, dude,
Masters
it was
Fitness
the most
Club.
casual thing ever. I was at the LS Kitty tent, and I was
Booth,
getting
yeah.
myself like a shirt or something. I was talking with Brad. He's the guy for the U.S.
The rep.
LS Kitty.
Yeah.
And he's like, I was telling him about the competition and being a vendor or podium sponsor, and he's like, yeah, and then we have Bella here that's actually an MC, and she's also a great athlete. I'm like, oh, you want to come to New York? And she's like, yeah, sure. When? I'm like, wait, what? Are you serious?
Yeah,
She's
Bella's
like,
great.
Yeah. So, it was pretty casual.
Yeah,
and
and-
they're great people too.
She saved our ass. Well, I don't want to say saved our ass, but she saved our ass. She really like took her years of experience because when we started the comp, it was supposed to kick off at 8:30.
Yeah.
And like there was nobody lined up. And, like 5 minutes went by.
And she knew.
No, in 3 minutes went by. She came out of the field, of the main
Yeah.
stage, went into the athlete corral,
Yeah.
and was like, "We're gonna run on time for the rest of this competition. We have to make up this time now. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen. So we need to figure out who needs to be here right now." And all the athletes, let's go.
Yeah.
Got them on the stage.
She
got
had
'em
the
ready.
experience to know how to
Yeah,
go.
to just like let's get it going because
Uh-huh.
we're gonna run on time. So she really kind of kicked the competition, like the urgency that okay, we need to stay to schedule.
Right.
And I don't think, and I literally saw this right in front of me, and like for me, it's like I don't know what to have done in that moment, right? Other than the athletes have to be briefed.
Right.
She's just like, let's go.
Let's do this. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
I was hyped. Everybody at that moment, like eyes lit up, like like shit, we're doing this. Like,
Yeah.
It's time to go.
Yeah, yeah.
And then after that, it was like we caught up, and then the entire competition for the rest of the day ran on time, and it ended literally.
Literally at
like
6 p.m.
yeah, we had the podium
Hell yeah.
sponsor. I mean, podium ceremony ending at 6:30. It ended literally at 6:30. You know,
Like one.
yeah, like on the because we saw the seconds.
It turned it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're like 6:30:01.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my god, dude!
Hell
Like,
yeah.
I can't believe like we actually like finished this competition on on time.
That's a great feeling.
Yeah. So super smooth after the first like
To answer
hour.
your question about like nervousness, I was cool until 8 a.m. when that happened.
Yeah.
Dude, 8 a.m.
8:30.
Dude, everything went
happens.
wrong, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a fail.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, we need to go into hyperdrive.
I
Like,
feel
right
that.
now, something
I'll
has
tell
to
you
change.
though, our gym, or I should say, your gym, is full of just professionals.
Mhm.
Everybody there is
Stepped up.
No, but everybody there is like their jobs too, like
Yeah.
their careers. Like they just under pressure.
Yeah.
They were cool,
great.
calm, and collected.
Yeah.
Everybody. And I should say, like, part of the reason why we had such success with the Meadowlands Classic is because we made it a rule that our athletes could not compete in our competition.
Yeah.
We felt like it would be a conflict of interest. But we encouraged everybody to volunteer.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, it goes back to why CrossFit's so good, which is community. It's like we had this understanding and this synergy between all of us as members to have the same interest. Like everybody wants to see Andrew be successful in the competition. They obviously want to see the Meadowlands Classic do really well and
Continue to grow.
yeah, and they want to see like all the work that I put into it as well. All
Pay
come
off,
together.
yeah.
Yeah, so we all had the same goal as a gym.
Yeah.
And that really worked out.
That's awesome. So at the end here, dudes, this is the last question I ask everybody. With having such a successful event, and you're already going on like a marketing tour to grow for next year, like what are you hungry for now?
Tour? What are we doing? A tour?
Well, I mean, you're talking to some people, you're doing some things out there. I see the post there. You got some 2024 announcement coming up.
Yeah.
Might be traveling to a new city. I like it. Got some things happening. So Andrew, what are you hungry for? What do you want to see for Meadowlands Classic 2024?
Definitely more athletes. We're going to keep pushing the limits on making it unique. We're not going to reinvent the wheel in terms of like new movements or what other CrossFit competitions are trying to do. We're going to stay true to CrossFit roots, but we want to see more engagement, more people have fun, right? That's the main reason why we do this. We want everyone to have fun. We want all athletes in CrossFit going all the way from scaled intermediate to elite have a place that they can compete and they can feel like they're all seen. A lot of intermediate scaled athletes don't think that they have enough competitions. A lot of elite athletes, like games athletes, also don't think that they have a competition that they can compete in because people say it's not fair, quote unquote.
Right.
Well, I don't feel that way. I think
if
everyone should be competing under the same umbrella
Right.
because that's the most inspiring thing about CrossFit, right? Like, I could be working out, for example, next to Chandler. Yeah, I'm going to get smoked, but you know what? It's a pretty cool experience, and that'll encourage me to continue my CrossFit journey.
Hell yeah.
And that's, for me, that's the bottom line. That's why, I'm so heavily invested into this.
I think you mentioned the elite part. One of the elite athletes who is a games athlete. I'm not gonna say which one, but they messaged me and they let me know like, oh, thank you so much for putting this together because a lot of the times they feel that they're not welcomed at competitions, and we made it obvious from the beginning that like that's exactly who we're targeting. So I think next year like more people are gonna be.
I hope so.
Yeah, it'll be on people's calendar. Because it is that weird gap between what was it right before Wadapalooza after qualifiers.
Yeah, it's
Andrew knows more.
I think that's becoming the competition season though. Like,
It's after Legends qualifiers too.
yeah, if you think about if you're looking at like different age groups, but like I talked to Aaliyah Miller last week, who's from the
I
New
saw
Jersey
that, yeah.
area, and we talked about like when's the off season, when's the competition season, and she said, well, after the games, unless you have major holes to fill, then that period between like September to February, you're either training, trying to go win some money, get your name out there a little bit more, get ready for the next season, or you're training super hard and you're, trying to fill in those holes that we talked about for the Open.
Yeah,
so,
she actually inquired with a colleague of ours to find out about our competition. So I did message her. I invited her, but unfortunately it just wasn't going to work out.
yeah, she's moving to frickin' Nevada.
Yeah, she's moving. Yeah.
So,
I think
yeah.
I heard about her Jeep.
Yeah. So she moved to Nevada. She had to get the hitch put on so she could drag the trailer and bring her air runner.
Damn.
She going to train with Sean Sweeney, CrossFit
Nice.
Cowboy. Uh-huh.
Cool.
It's dope, dude. I mean, like, I really admire people that are like taking under like a fitness entrepreneurial thing like that. Like, John, did you tell us what you want to see for next year? You said more elites. Is that what you want to see?
Well, so we have like a way bigger vision. You know, we'd like to take it not on tour like the Meadowlands Classic on tour. We'd like to do more like a road to the Meadowlands, like leading up to it.
Yeah, like qualifiers, competitions outside, smaller places.
Yeah, we're thinking about possibly going to one of the big Northeast, as they call it, megapolis. I think that's how they describe it, which is, you know, either Philly, Boston. Obviously, we're in like the New York region already.
Oh yeah.
But then there's Baltimore and there's DC.
Yeah, the metro areas.
Yeah, so we're trying to. Now we're looking into one of those cities. What's our best market? Yeah. And then how can we convert that market into now being committed into coming in November? Yeah. In November we already have slated 2 days. I don't know if you knew this part. I saw November 9th and 10th. It works out great because it's actually Veterans Day on Monday. You know, next year's a leap year, so Veterans this year was on a Saturday. Yeah. And then on Monday will be the 11th, so it's like a 3-day weekend, just like Memorial Day weekend or something. Right. So the competition will be the 9th and the 10th. 11th, hopefully people have off. And we plan on offering, hopefully, the most money on the East Coast outside of Wadapalooza. Hell yeah. That's kind of what we have slated. And what else? I don't know, like qualifiers. I think we're still talking about that.
Yeah, we're exploring.
We won't even go into that part.
Yeah.
You know, leave that out of there.
Yeah.
All right, dogs, you heard it here first. Next year, we got the most prize money offered on the East Coast besides Wadapalooza coming at you. This has been the Meadowlands Classics directors here, Andrew and John. Dogs, we're getting out of here. Peace.